I would like to talk about WWF's Armageddon from 2000. The show was known for the six-man Hell in a Cell main event. I was 10 years old when I first saw this show. I watched it with my sister and my brother. My family was into wrestling around this time. It was big, as it would be, because this is the Attitude Era. And during the Attitude Era, everybody was into wrestling. But this show stuck out to me mostly for that main event. Amazing. Let me just talk about the build-up. So, during this time, Mick Foley was the commissioner. And Mick Foley was awesome. He was hilarious, he was fun, and he was booked very well. Like, anytime something happened, something big, we had to make an announcement or a match, he would always come out and make it, and fans were excited. He was the fan favorite corporate figure. You know what I'm saying? And he fit that role. He was the everyday man that people loved being in charge. And I don't think we had a commissioner as popular as him. Well, Austin was a commissioner in 2003, 2004. We'll have to go back through time and see which one was better. But for me, because it's recent, I thought Mick Foley was awesome as commissioner. But the thing was, Mick Foley was making a lot of matches that Vince McMahon didn't like. Then he made this match, the six-man Hell in a Cell, that involved The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kurt Angle, The Undertaker, Rikishi, and the returning Triple H. And the build for this match was tremendous. First off, everybody was scared. All six competitors were like, oh my god, Hell in a Cell. Because back then, Hell in a Cell was actually a big deal. And it wasn't just something they do every single year. No, we rarely got Hell in a Cell matches. And when they happened, someone got hurt. I think at this point, this was the fourth or fifth Hell in a Cell. They came rarely. The first one was 1997, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. Shortened, quote-unquote, shortened Shawn Michaels' career and was the debut of Kane. The second one was Undertaker versus Mankind, or Mick Foley, the legendary Hell in a Cell match, where we saw Mick Foley get thrown off the cell and chokeslammed through the cell, got his tooth knocked out, broke a lot of bones, got a cut in the bottom of his lip. He was able to put his tongue through it. It was nasty. The third one, if I'm not mistaken, was Mick Foley's retirement match, where he fought Triple H. Same year, 2000. No Way Out. So this is the fourth one. I think I probably skipped one. Let me know if I skipped one. But I think this is the fourth one where we see all six men inside the cell. So big deal. Everybody's scared of this match. Someone at some point either gets tossed off the cell, someone gets hurt, someone gets injured. So we got that going for it already. But then you got Vince McMahon and Stephanie McMahon coming out and saying, this match is too dangerous. It shouldn't be happening. We need to cancel this match. And then we had Linda McMahon come in and basically say, I support Mick Foley. He is the one in charge, which leads to Vince McMahon divorcing Linda McMahon. The match is so catastrophic, such a big deal, that it caused a divide in the already dysfunctional McMahon family. And on top of that, my God, you had so many feuds going into this. Think about the feuds we had. We had Austin, who recently returned from a neck injury because he got ran over by a car. Found out that it was Rikishi. I did it for The Rock. I did it for the people. I did it. Oh, shut your mouth, it's already baggy. Love that. You had The Rock and Rikishi. You had Triple H and Austin. You had Rock and Triple H. You had Kurt Angle and The Rock. You had Kurt Angle and Triple H. I was right because, remember, Kurt Angle actually tried to get with Stephanie McMahon. Remember that? Yeah. You had I think it was Rikishi and... I think I said Rikishi and Austin already, did I? So many feuds going into this match. It just felt like a big freaking deal. And it was for the WWF Championship. You had Triple H returning from a storyline angle where Austin dropped him on his head inside of a car. You had Kurt Angle going in as the heel champion, who was cheating, taking the under row, using underhanded tactics to keep the belt. And so we're all wondering, what are you going to do now, Kurt, when you have all these people going after you? Big hype. And they spent the entire, well, most of the show, not the entire show, but most of the show hyping this up. They gave this a lot of build, man. You have to understand, back in the day, the storytelling for WWF was phenomenal. I might go back and rewatch all of WWF's pay-per-views in 2000. Maybe not just 2000, from like 1998 to about 2003. All their pay-per-views, for the most part, were good to great to amazing. Especially WrestleMania 17, which I've already reviewed. Check that out. But the hype for this match was off the charts. But before we get to that, we had other matches to talk about. So let's get to them real quickly. We opened up the show with a 6-person intergender elimination match. We had the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff, with Lita taking on the Radicals, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, and Eddie Guerrero. First off, I forgot all about Perry Saturn. I might need to go back and watch some WCW matches so I can remember him. But the feud actually was revolving around an angle. Dating angle between Dean Malenko and Lita. So Dean Malenko had a thing for Lita, and they ended up dating each other after he beat Lita in a match. Yeah, so back then they were actually doing intergender matches, and they weren't bad when it's Lita, but Dean Malenko got his date with Lita, and then she tricked him, and it was embarrassing, which led to this match. And it culminated, because it was elimination, it culminated with the last two people being Dean Malenko and Lita, which was, what the hell? And Dean Malenko got a lot of heat. He got so much heat for beating up Lita. It was ridiculous. And there were points in the match where he actually could have beaten Lita, but every time the referee would count 1, 2, he would pull her head up. He pulls her head up off the mat. Her shoulders, because you had to have her shoulders. So pulled her shoulders off the mat using her head, and then he would just toy with her until he hooked in his Texas Cloverleaf and ends up beating her. The feud, however, would continue into next year. It goes on for a while, and I think, man, we don't get those kind of long-term builds, or matter of fact, we don't get these intergender matches anymore. When was the last time we saw a male versus a woman in WWE? Seriously. When was the last? I'm not going to think about it. Maybe it was Beth Phoenix versus... Was it Beth Phoenix versus Santino? I don't remember. Let me know down below. Because, Jesus, it's been a while since I've actually seen an intergender wrestling match in WWE. But that was the opening contest. It was good. I'm telling you, storytelling does wonders for you. Next up was a European Championship. Remember that belt? The European Championship. It was William Regal, during his heyday, taking on Hardcore Holly, the hometown boy here in Alabama. And I think, for the most part, it was decent. I can't really say much about it. It was alright. William Regal ends up winning when Raven comes out and helps him win. He hits a DDT on Hardcore Holly. And those two would have a feud going into, not necessarily WrestleMania, but going into next year. Because WrestleMania is Raven versus Kane versus Big Show, which is... Talked about that in my WrestleMania review. Check that out. Next up is China versus Brother Val Venus. Not the porn star Val Venus we're used to. This is Right to Censor Val Venus. Remember that stable? Right to Censor? Bro, as a heel stable, I really dug Right to Censor. They were awesome heels. Stevie Richards with Ivy. Sorry, I'm thinking Poison Ivy. What the hell? Ivory, was it the Good Father? Not the Godfather, but the Good Father and Val Venus. Man, they had so much heat. And then it was Bull Buchanan, I think. Yeah, Bull. Whatever. But China took on Val Venus. And seeing China go out there, matter of fact, I forgot how over most of the roster was in 2000. The opening contest, Hardys and Lita go out there. The crowd goes crazy. Hardcore Holly goes out there. The crowd goes crazy. Freaking China got like I won't say the second biggest pop of the night, but she got a huge pop. She was massively over in 2000. It was ridiculous. Well, to be fair, this was following that angle with Eddie Guerrero and her, where Eddie Guerrero cheated on her. Man, he was a douchebag in 2000. Val Venus ends up beating Chyna because Ivory interfered. So, this is building into that match with Ivory and Chyna at WrestleMania. They do an angle where Chyna breaks her neck and then she has to wrestle with a broken neck and stuff. They do a lot of crazy stuff. Stuff we don't see nowadays. And then we get this feud. We see Kurt Angle. No, not Kurt Angle. Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho versus Kane. Last man standing. So, the feud between Chris Jericho and Kane started over coffee. Chris Jericho was walking down some aisle backstage, and he accidentally ran into Kane and spilled coffee on him. That was the feud. That's how it started. And Kane lost his mind because Chris Jericho said, "Sorry, hope that didn't burn you." And Kane said, "You don't know what it's like to be burnt." And then he spent the next, I think it was like 2 months, interfering in Chris Jericho's matches and giving him hell because he spilled coffee on him. Seriously, that's how the feud started. He spilled coffee on Kane. I love it because it's so Kane to get angry and go psycho over something so small. Sorry, I didn't mean to burn you. It's so great. The match was good. I thought the match did a great job of helping to launch Chris Jericho to that next level, into the main event scene. Because after this, we start to see him climb more and more into the main event, facing people like Austin and Triple H, and eventually becoming the first ever undisputed champion in WWE history. Then we got some kind of matches. WWF Tag Team Championships, Fatal 4-Way, Right to Censor, taking on Edge and Christian, taking on the Dudleys, taking on K-Quick and Road Dogg. Now, I can speak English. K-Quick, there we go, is R-Truth. Before he was R-Truth, he was K-Quick. And yeah, that tag team between him and Road Dogg was okay. It was like, sure. I guess. They're both rappers, so tag team. It is what it is. Decent match. Dudleys were awesome. Well, love that. But Edge and Christian win their 4th tag team championships. And ships. Yeah, I think I said that right. No. They win their first. How about this? They win their first tag team titles. Let's go with that. I think that sounds better. Here at this night. But yeah, it was decent. I didn't hate it. That's just it. Then we go on to the WWF Intercontinental Championship match. Billy Gunn, the champion, takes on he who should not be named. Screw it. Chris Benoit. I'll say his name. And I'll say it again. Chris Benoit. Do something about it. Anyways, the match was solid. Back then, people don't give Billy Gunn credit for how good of a worker he was. He was actually a good worker. Very agile. Could actually have a good match back then. Nowadays, he's showing his age. But back then, oh man, he was a really good worker. Very smooth inside the ring. And he had a solid match with Chris Benoit. And Benoit ended up beating him with the crossface. Cool with that. By the way, he was the one Billy Gunn. They made him take away the Mr. Ass nickname because he lost to Right to Censor and he lost the right to use that name. I'm telling you, Right to Censor was an awesome stable, man. They were an awesome stable. Next is a very short women's championship match. Ivory, the champion, took on Molly Holly and Trish Stratus before they were all that good. Trish was okay. Molly was actually pretty solid. She gets a lot better as the years go by. But Ivory was the veteran in this match, and Ivory retains. Not much to say about it. And this is something I will say. One thing I will point out when it comes to the matches on this card. The quality might not be all that high, and I'll admit that until you get to the main event, which was, oh my god. The quality, good. You have a couple of good matches in here, but for the most part, decent. What made these matches feel important is the fact that they all had a purpose. Each one leads to something. Each one is a part of a story that's going on or coming to an end. Like, for instance, even this women's championship match. Okay, the match was average. But after the match, we have TNA, Tess and Albert. Oh, I love that freaking tag team. But Tess and Albert come out wearing a T and APA shirt because they took out the APA. And then next thing you know, APA comes back. Bradshaw and Farouk, because they were taken out by T and APA. And so we go into that feud. Everything has a purpose. Everything leads to something, which makes you want to tune into Raw, SmackDown going into the next few months. That's why this pay-per-view is awesome. But following that, we had the main event. We had the 6-man Hell in a Cell for the WWF Championship. Nothing else to say about it. This is a classic. This was a classic match. This was brutal. This was, for me, when I was 10, it was hard to watch. Everybody bled. Every single... Did Rikishi bleed? I don't think Rikishi bled. Maybe he did. I didn't see it. I think it's safe to say we had a lot of blood in this match, as it should be. It's Hell in a Cell. Blood is necessary. You need blood in Hell in a Cell. It's supposed to feel dangerous. This match had all the hype, and it led up to it. It led up to the hype. It had 6 of the biggest stars in WWF at the time, and they were beating the hell out of each other. They went outside the cage. They were throwing each other to and fro, using their finishers. The highlight of the entire match was Rikishi being chokeslammed off the top of the cell onto a truck. Onto a freaking truck. I don't care how much money you making. There ain't enough money in the world to pay me to make me do that. I don't want to die. And I'm surprised he lived after that. That was scary, scary, scary. I honestly have nothing bad to say about this match. I'm trying to find issues with it. I don't have anything. It's a classic. There's nothing bad to say about it. And I know people are going to say, well, I don't like the fact that Kurt Angle won. Why not? Honestly, you know what? Here's what I am going to say. Good. Good. You're not supposed to like it. This is that instance where, as a smart wrestling fan, I go, that was the perfect way to have the heel champion retain his belt. Seriously. Kurt Angle, basically the ultimate opportunist at this time, waited until everybody beat the hell out of each other, beat the hell out of themselves, and then he crawled in and got the pinfall. That's how he wins. Beautiful. That's how heels win. That's how it's supposed to be done. So Kurt Angle maintains that heat. So eventually when he does lose that belt later on, to The Rock, by the way, No Way Out, it means a lot more. And I love that everything revolving around this Hell in a Cell, it ultimately did wonders for everybody inside this match. Because it does end up going, it does end up spinning off into most reviews going down the road. Because think about this. The Rock ends up fighting Kurt Angle. Austin ends up fighting Triple H. I think Taker ends up fighting Triple H. Rikishi, I don't think he's on TV for much longer. Remember, this, when he gets thrown out the cell, I don't think you come back from that very soon. I don't remember when he does come back. He does eventually come back and make a face turn. Don't remember when that happens, but he's gone for a while, because that was devastating. But yeah, this does lead into other feuds down the line, especially for WrestleMania. So this did a lot of great things, and I would put this up there as one of the best Hell in a Cell matches. Period. Top 5. Top 5, absolutely. I dare you to find me something that can top this or knock it out of the top 5. But yeah, guys, that is my pay-per-view review. Damn good show. Damn good show. I recommend that everybody watches it all the way through. Again, the dips are there, but I don't think it hurts the show because there's a story thread throughout the entire show. And each program has a purpose. And so it doesn't feel like you're watching something random. And I love that. And I feel like if we got more of that, people wouldn't be complaining a lot nowadays. But thank you guys for watching. Give me your thoughts on WWF Armageddon 2000. I will catch you guys next time hopefully with a new intro and a much better system for how we do these retro reviews. But hope you guys enjoyed this review. Love you all. Catch you guys next time right here into the X-Men's World. Peace.